Hello, everybody. It's me again, Andre, and I'm going to explain to you why music makes us dance involuntarily. Okay, so have you ever listened to any song? Okay, like for example, Genuine or Player. Okay, have you ever listened to any R&B song and you just wanted to, or any hip hop song and you just wanted to dance e- like you're dancing before you even know it after you listen to the beat, okay? So there's a science behind why music makes us dance involuntarily. And the primary reason for this is because of what we call the auditory cortex, okay? So there are these pathways. So whenever you listen to music, okay? Let's say these are your ears, okay? Let's say these are your ears. Whenever you listen to music, there is a signal that goes into your ears and then travels all the way to this part of the cerebrum. Okay? Uh, okay. Travels all the way to this parts of the cerebrum, the auditory cortex. Okay? And what these auditory cortexes do is they basically just capture, okay? They basically just capture music or any type of audio that you listen to. But the catch is these parts of the brain, the auditory cortex, it is actually, okay, it is actually very close to what we call the motor cortex. Okay, the motor cortex is right here, this part of the cerebrum. And for those of you who don't know, the cerebrum is basically just the very outer fold of the brain. Okay, the very outer folds of the brain, that is the cerebrum, and the auditory cortex is actually very close to the primary motor cortex. And what the primary motor cortex basically just does is it basically just plans and it's basically responsible for all of your movement. Okay, and that's why it's called the motor cortex. Okay, it controls your motor movements, and when you listen to music, okay, these little waves that come straight to your ear and then travel all the way to the auditory cortex. It it basically also triggers the motor cortex, and the motor cortex gives signals for your body to move. Okay, basically just it gives signals for your body to move. Okay, so how does music do this? Okay, how does music do this exactly? So we have to look at another concept called syncopation. And syncopation is basically just a term that describes interruption in music. Okay, so let's say you have an example. Let's say you have a beat like this. Mm, okay, I'm just gonna beatbox the beat. Okay, so you have a beat like that. Would you say that that rhythmic pattern, the beat that I just beatboxed, is predictable? Yes or no? Okay, so your answer would probably be predictable because it follows a sort of rigid metronome-like pattern. Okay, and when a pattern is predictable, or a rhythmic pattern in any type of music is predictable, or beat, okay, is predictable, you kind of don't have the urge to dance to the music just as much. But here is where syncopation comes to the equation. Okay? Here is where syncopation is taken into consideration. A syncopation is basically just a musical pattern where you interrupt, uh, where you deliberately interrupt the pattern, the rhythmic pattern, um, of your beat or of your instrumentals or your basically just music, okay, in general. And what this does when so the brain does what we call, okay, it does what we call entrainment. The human brain basically, whenever it hears music, it tries to. Uh, but first, let's preface this. Before we talk about entrainment, let's talk about how the human brain generally works. Okay, so our brains love patterns. It loves patterns, and when it hears patterns in music, it basically just does what is called entrainment. And entrainment is just your brain waves, okay, trying to sync itself. It tries to sync with the music. It tries to sync with the music to try and see if its predictions of what's going to happen next with the beat are correct. Okay? And when the predictions that your brain makes of what's going to happen next with the beat is correct, okay? And when it predicts what's going to happen to the beat, it releases dopamine, okay? Just basically just dopamine and your feel-good chemicals, your brain's feel-good chemicals, dopamine, okay? So what happens in syncopation is there is a sweet spot to syncopation, okay? And musicians who are very deep into the art probably know what syncopation is, okay? They probably already know what syncopation is. They use it deliberately to make their music more addictive, okay? So when a music is when a beat when a beat is um, very unpredictable, your brain basically just stops trying to predict the beat, okay? And it basically just your urges to dance basically just lower, and you don't want to dance that much to the music when it's very unpredictable and chaotic. Like if the beat is very unpredictable and chaotic, but if the beat is somewhat predictable, okay, it's somewhat predictable but not all that predictable. That is what exactly makes you dance in music. So that is why musicians probably use this concept of syncopation, where they deliberately interrupt the beat, the pattern of the beat, the rhythmic pattern of the beat. Okay? It's somewhat predictable, unpredictable, somewhat predictable, and somewhat unpredictable. That's when your brain starts to dance to the music. Okay? So that's basically it. Okay? That is why music makes us dance involuntarily. It's basically just a mix of your brain's motor functions, the way the way signals travel to your brain from your ears. Okay? So to sum this up, to sum this whole video up, music, okay, if you ever wondered, our ancestors actually love to dance to music, okay? They would dance to music because number one, it makes them feel good, okay? As we said earlier, it releases the endorphins, which is basically just your brain's very own painkiller, okay? And it basically just up spirals your mood, your overall mood, and also it also releases dopamine, okay? Makes you feel good, okay? So that is exactly why our ancestors do this. And also, dancing to music in our ancestors' time was used as a social bonding. Was used as social bonding. Okay, they used this to bond with each other, and that's very important to the tribes. Otherwise, okay, if you don't bond with the people in your tribe, back in our ancestors' time, you would probably get kicked out or killed or somewhat, okay, or probably die out of when you're out of resources or whatever, okay. So that's why music makes us dance, okay. It's basically just a biological um, it basically just mixes some biological mechanisms that we have and um, a little bit of music, a little bit of rhythmic patterns, the beats of music. That's why music makes us dance involuntarily. Okay? So if you learned anything from this video, I would really appreciate if you would subscribe and you give this video a like. Okay? So thank you for listening. I'll definitely see you in the next video. Stay tuned. Okay? So definitely stay tuned. Thank you for listening.